What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/AmITheButtHole. If you love a Reddit story, consider clicking that subscribe button, maybe that notification bell too, and let's jump straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story does follow with a little update as well, and it's from ForeignAd2790, who says, "Am I the arsehole for asking for an apology from my boyfriend's mother after she cost me $300? About 2 weeks ago, my boyfriend and I planned a trip to the city for 2 days. We had been planning on this for the past 3 months. I was the one who booked the hotel, bought tickets and reservations for restaurants. We had already spoken to our parents for permission, so it was all well. My boyfriend has his own car and I do not. We were going to use his car to go to the city, but it needed to be fixed up a little bit. So both me and him split the cost to fix up things we needed so that the car would run well enough to get from our town to the city and back. 2 weeks before our trip, the car is doing great and is ready to roll. That week we told our parents again what date and where we were staying. Everything all fine from both sides, or so I thought. Last week I was speaking to my boyfriend about the trip and told him about what things I had planned for the two of us, and we were both equally excited. Until he spoke to his mother. Apparently, she'd forgotten that we're going for a trip, and since the car that my boyfriend drives actually belongs to his mother, she told him that we were not allowed to go to the city anymore. Because of this, I had to cancel our reservations. A lot of them had no cancellation fees, but the hotel did. I had to pay $300 for cancelling our room. It may not be much for some, but for me, someone who doesn't earn a lot and saves like crazy, is a lot. Neither of our families are rich, but for some reason, when I brought up the fact that I lost money, my boyfriend told me that it wasn't like I couldn't earn it back in a couple of weeks' time, and if I was upset then he could just pay me the money. I was pretty upset about that. I told him that all I want is an apology from his mother, and even if I did want the money, it would not be from him, but from her. He told his mother what I said and she started to cry, saying that she didn't have the money to give me and that what about all the things I paid for her. The thing is, she's only ever spent money on me if I gave her money, so I don't know where that was coming from. But I don't know, I feel bad. Am I the arsehole? I don't think me asking for an apology would be this much. Now, one of the things the boyfriend said in this about, you can just earn the money back just like that is so simple. After boyfriend must know your situation and how hard you have to save to get that money. You even split half the cost of the car repairs. So not only you $300 out of pocket for that, you've also lost money on the car repairs now as well. On the mum's car, so you've even paid for repairs for her car. I mean, what the hell? And before we go to the update, we're going to go through a couple of comments, and one from Random Ness who quotes saying, "When I brought up the fact I lost money, my boyfriend told me that it wasn't like I couldn't earn it back in a couple of weeks' time." And then says, "Your boyfriend doesn't respect you." Nokiko says, "Not the arsehole. You paid all, even your boyfriend's part. His parents even know about this since you and your boyfriend split the cost to fix your boyfriend's mother's car. So you're not only $300 out of pocket, but also half the cost to fix a car. Because of the forgotten you were going on the trip sounds fishy to me. Looks like she does not want you to use her car even if you paid to get it fixed. And then the reply from your boyfriend, you could earn it back in a couple of weeks instead of we. Him telling to his mother and not even standing up for you. Then her guilt tripping you with lies. She never paid things for you. I don't know how old you are, still living with parents, but you might want to look at your relationship now because of the whole money part replies of your boyfriend and boyfriend mother are not really promising for a good relationship later on." Lonnie Lee says, "Not the arsehole, but I gotta say, if under the circumstances my boyfriend said, well, you can just work and earn it back in a couple of weeks, I'd dump him. Neither his mother or the boyfriend have treated you with the respect and consideration you deserve." And I have said my piece says, "Everyone sucks here, the mum for being a hindrance, your boyfriend for capitulating, you for not holding your boyfriend responsible and blaming the mum. The mum doesn't owe you anything, your boyfriend does." And let's have one more from Lost at Sea Don't Bother Me who says, "Not the arsehole. His mum should never have let you put money into her car. She took advantage and waited until the last second to say no to this trip so there would be less time to fight about this. This was absolutely a calculated move. So to be honest, I think you should ask for that money back as well as your $300. You told all the parents involved about this trip way in advance and she screwed you over. You have every right to be mad and to tell her why. As 18-year-olds who have graduated, you are legally adults and you shouldn't let this lady manipulate you." Now let's check out the update to see what it says. Update. So we've spoken and we all agreed to put this behind. As we were talking, his mother was crying, so I tried my best not to be harsh. I did mention that I was really upset that even though she had 3 months to tell us we couldn't use the car, but also had me lose money in the process. She kind of got a bit defensive, saying that she couldn't pay me back anyway since she doesn't have that sort of money and has a family to care for. So I've backed down. I really can't bring myself to ask for money back. I can't work more days to get the money back quicker. I really do see a future with my boyfriend and I don't want to ruin my relationship with his side of the family, especially his mother, because they're the closest. Thank you to everyone for your insight and I will try to do better. And it's probably not the update all of us were hoping for there, really, is it? And although I can see some little positives obviously from OP's side of things, but I still feel that she did deserve to get that money back. And, you know, Mum's just turned around and said, no, I got a family to care for, I can't pay that money, even though she's the one that cost you to begin with. She's not taking responsibility for her actions in this. And I do wonder what the future looks like for OP with that sort of family in mind and wanting to be a part of that sort of family. But who knows? Let's move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Realistic Mission 59. Am I the arsehole for telling my nephew why he can't come to my house after school anymore? My nephew is 14. He lives with my brother, his dad, his stepmom, his stepbrother who is 11, and his half-sister who is 2. My brother's first wife died 5 years ago. My brother remarried last year but has been with my current sister-in-law for the last 3 years. My nephew gets along really well with a 13-year-old son and 15-year-old daughter, and they hang out together a lot at my house. My brother never minded before, but recently decided that since my nephew doesn't consider his stepbrother and half-sister as siblings, that more time needs to be put into them spending together, and he wanted me to be the bad guy to tell my nephew he's no longer welcome after school. I told my brother I wasn't going to take the blame and he needs to talk to nephew if he wants to make things work. My brother said it would be better coming from me, but I didn't go along with it. So my brother told him I had said he wasn't welcome anymore. Nephew came to me and I was honest, that his dad wants him to spend more time with his stepbrother and half-sister. These are the terms my nephew uses, and so has decided he shouldn't spend time at my house anymore. My nephew is pissed at his dad and told him taking away the people he wants to spend time with isn't going to make him want the other two more than he does. He said he's not going to run to bond with them because he doesn't have his cousins, he'll just do other stuff. My brother is annoyed that I told my nephew the truth. He said I had no right to undermine him and hurt their relationship by making nephew dislike him. I told him he did it himself, but when he said it wasn't my place, something stuck. So, am I the arsehole? No, and you was absolutely right in this one, and he's the one who's damaged this relationship. He's the one that wanted you to take the blame and look like the bad guy in the situation, and hell no, why would you want that when he's perfectly happy coming around your house and spending time there? He clearly loves it, and I kind of hope he continues to do so. I know it's a bit sad that he's not bonding with his stepbrother and half-sister, but you can't force these relationships. If that's one thing that we've seen in these stories time and time again, you cannot force these kind of relationships. But Odd Meat says, not the arsehole, your brother wanted your nephew to dislike you, and quotes, so my brother told him I had said he wasn't welcome anymore. Then goes on to say, I wish him good luck with lying and forcing the families to become one. QWERTY says, not the arsehole, your brother wanted you to be the fall guy so he could preserve what relationship he has/had with this child, at the expense of your relationship with the child. If I were you, I would have done the same thing. And Komarebi Chan says, he hurt his relationship with his son by lying to him, and who knows what else. You did the right thing by talking to him like a person and telling him the truth. He needs someone to trust. Hopefully your brother can figure out how to communicate with his son better. Baltimore Badger says, not the arsehole. Children, especially teens, shouldn't be forced to spend time with people they don't want to spend time with, nor denied time with the people that they want to be around, unless the latter are negative influences in a significant way. Drugs, unsafe sexual experimentation, bullying, etc. Your brother would have been better off being honest with his son and finding a balance. Playing you off as the arsehole is an arsehole move. Successful Can says, not the arsehole, sounds like another case of fathering neglect his original child for his new family and trying to make it work. This is just going to make him resentful and hate his step/half-siblings more. You did nothing wrong by not taking the blame. Your nephew would have felt even more rejected if his safe space, you, rejected him too. I'm worried about his mental health. I can imagine how his dad is at home. Father and son need therapy. You should tell your brother he might be in danger of losing his son, but then he might blow up at you for that. Just be there for your nephew and really listen to him. Be ready. Sigh. And one more from Unlucky Ducker, who says, "You're not the arsehole. Your brother undermined his relationship with his son by trying to sever ties with family he enjoys spending time with, and then lying on top of that. As they say, honesty is the best policy, and I think you did nothing wrong by refusing to lie. You were upfront with your brother that you did not want to lie, and you didn't lie. Sure, I can understand that your brother would want to try and build a relationship between his son and his son's stepbrother and half-sister. But lying and trying to undermine his son's relationship with his cousins isn't the way to do it. These things also can't be forced. He's just got to give his son time to adjust to these new relationships. He might still be grieving over his mum and is struggling to adapt to his new family." Now, what do you guys make of this one? I think it was a clear not the arsehole, but is there a way to fix these relationships? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from River at Heart. Am I the arsehole for threatening legal action against my mother? I, 18, assigned female at birth, have a complicated relationship with my parents. As I've gotten older, it's gotten worse. Recently, I received a sum of money from my deceased grandpa, about $125k, all for college. When I was told I inherited it, I was excited that I would be able to afford my dream school. When I tried to get the money transferred to my college savings, I encountered a problem. My mother. She has the idea that since I was the oldest, I would have to pay her back everything, including all the medical shit I went through before I was even 4. So that would be a lot. I went to ask her to transfer the money into my college savings account, but she refused, claiming that it was rightfully hers because of all that she has done for me. To say I was mad was an understatement. All through my life, she would go into my room and steal whatever cash I had, and even destroy the safe my grandfather had bought me. Any sort of money that I had won from different sporting competitions, she would cash it in for herself. So I waited a few days to talk to her again, but used my time wisely. When I was 13, I decided to start keeping a notebook of all the money I had earned. She doesn't do any of this to my siblings, only to me. Well, when I added everything up and included the 125k from my grandpa, it was about 250k that I had recorded. That's a lot of money for an 18-year-old to imagine, but I saw everything as purely college savings. 3 days ago, I went to her with my notebook, records of all transactions she made through my account, and went through everything with her. At first she was confused, but when I said the magical grand total, she went nuts. She started yelling that all of that was hers, since she had spent more than that on my medical bills. I tried to stay calm, but I've heard enough of her dumb excuses. So I told her that she doesn't do any of this to my siblings, which she only said that it was my job as the oldest to pay her. I've seen enough of situations like this, so I had copied everything into a file on my laptop when she took my notebook and papers to destroy. I just added on what the notebook folder and papers had cost to the total. 2 days ago, I sent her an email laying out that I either wanted everything that she had stolen from me, not worrying about the interest because that's too complicated right now, or I'd be going the legal route, suing her for more than what she has stolen from me, which included all of my therapy. Now I'm worried that I may have taken it too far. So Reddit, am I the arsehole for threatening legal action against my mother? Now, I'm never sure on the whole legal stuff about this. I'm sure you can definitely sue for the 125k that your grandpa left to you, because I would assume, and this may be a wrong assumption, that would be legally yours anyway. I'm not sure what you can do about the money she's taken from you in the past, even if you have the records for it, because if she can't afford to pay it, you're just not going to get it. But that 125k is there, and it is yours, so I'd definitely be taking the legal route over that, especially from what you've said and the way she's treated you in the past. And it's 100% not the arsehole from me. But Chris says, not the arsehole. I want to say this nicely, but mum is full of shit. Paying for the medical needs of a 4-year-old kid is what a parent is supposed to do, and a duty. OP replies to that saying, I was raised to believe that because parents take care of children when they're younger, but when the children are older, they can take care of the parents. I won't be able to help them later because of my lasting issues, but worry that what I may do could make it harder for them. AJ says, not the arsehole. Bravo for standing up for you. I think you better consult a lawyer to do it properly without any legal holes. Sunny Bunny Hop says, not the arsehole. You need to consult with an attorney ASAP. I fear the longer you wait to get an attorney involved, the more difficult it may be for you to recover the funds. Plus, you need an attorney to review the inheritance documents, including how the money was transferred. Was it transferred before or after you turned 18? How was it supposed to be set up? Was it supposed to be in a trust? Was it supposed to be in a separate account, etc.? I'm not sure you'll be entitled to recover the 125k funds you earned as a minor, but you certainly have claim to the inheritance from your grandfather. Bottom line, you need to have an attorney review all information and discuss your available options. Good luck, OP. Stranger Taste says not the arsehole, definitely take the legal route. That woman is abusive and manipulative. At the very least, you're entitled to your rightful inheritance. Bookworm Airhead says not the arsehole. Parents are supposed to take care of their kids. It's literally a fucking job. You don't owe them for doing what is their actual duty. And BD Punker says, not the arsehole, she stole from you in the past. She is stealing your inheritance now. She is the parent, she has a duty to take care of you. So she can't use expenses when you were young as an excuse to get money from you. Nothing is wrong with you retrieving your money. Now, what do you guys think of this one? I feel sorry for OP, and like one of the comments said that the longer they leave it, the less chance they might get that money. Because I mean, what if like mum does decide to spend a big chunk of that and she can't pay it back? What happens then? But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story is from Unlucky Owl 8087, titled, Am I the arsehole for kicking out my brother even though he saved my life? I was in a terrible marriage. I got married to a 21-year-old right out of high school. I didn't know how I was going to get out. I had no money, no career, and 2 young children to care for. My brother took me in. He paid for college and his wife looked after my children when I worked my first job. I owed a lot to them. I have built a life for myself, and without their sacrifice, I would have been adrift in life or worse. My elder daughter is trans. She came out 6 months ago. It's been a hard adjustment for all of us, but she is thriving. Her grades are better. She is a happy teenager right now. My brother doesn't approve. He has been berating me for letting my child indulge in delusions. He gets upset when he sees her dressed in feminine clothes. She doesn't come out of her room when he visits. He isn't outright cruel, but it's obvious that he doesn't approve of her, and it is hurting her. She used to look up to him. I tried to talk to him about it, but he doesn't listen to me. He has always been stubborn to a fault. I told him not to come to my house if he isn't going to treat her respectfully. He got upset and he is not talking to me. My mother is furious with me. She thinks I am being ungrateful. He has done a lot for me. She thinks I should have been firm, but I shouldn't have kicked him out of my house. I feel like I'm in a terrible position. I feel incredibly ungrateful for kicking out my brother who saved us. It would have taken me years more to get out of the marriage. I know I am doing the right thing, but it feels all wrong and horrid to kick my brother out when he has done so much for us. Yes, your brother helped you, when you was down and helped you out of a real difficult situation, which I'm sure you are absolutely grateful for. I can see it in this post as well. But that doesn't give him the right to treat your daughter the way he is right now. It doesn't excuse him from being an arsehole, which he clearly is in this situation. Your daughter's at a point now where she's hiding in her room away from him, and I think that says a lot about how she may feel in this situation. And I think you need to protect your daughter at all costs and keep that toxicity out of your home. So it's an absolutely not the arsehole from me on this one, and the mother can screw off as well. But Talibob says, not the arsehole, you are being a good mother. Your brother did a lot for you, but that doesn't give him free rein to be disrespectful to you and your family. Vane Meg says, not the arsehole. Helping you out in earlier life does not give your brother a lifetime pass of arseholishness. Good for you for standing up for your daughter. Don't give him an inch unless he is willing to change his ways. This is a hill to die on. Soft-hearted wench says, not the arsehole. People do not get to hold their past decisions over your head for the rest of your life while they disrespect you. End of story. Taylor says, this is a horrible situation, OP. For starters, definitely not the arsehole. Good actions don't mean we should ignore bad actions, and your brother being stubbornly rude about your daughter is a horrible action. I think you need to sit your brother down, away from your own home, a neutral place, and tell him exactly this, that you owe him so much and love him dearly, but you need to look after your daughter's well-being, and as yet his actions have been negative to that he has a clear choice, be kind and polite, or not be invited over anymore, but that you will regret that bitterly. The Incredible Rook says, not the arsehole. I came in here sure you were the arsehole from the title, but no, I take that right back. He's being very disrespectful towards your daughter, who will probably have to deal with this type of BS all her life, but she should definitely not have to deal with it in her own home. Your feelings that you may be the arsehole here are completely justified. It is a difficult position, but I'm assuring you, you did the right thing. Nothing your brother has done for you in the past gives him right to be disrespectful towards your family. Not an EP says, oh yes, due to your past deeds, I'm going to let you scar my daughter for life, making her feel unsafe in her own house. Not the arsehole, mate. Miss Ash Hart says, not the arsehole, your daughter's happiness and health should always come first, and you are the best you can by supporting her, which is amazing. Despite your brother saving your life, you can't excuse his actions. You're in the right for kicking him out. Now, what do you think of this story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Winchester044, titled, Am I the arsehole for refusing to pay for my brother's expenses? Me, 25 male, and my brother K, 33 male, are not particularly close. We never were. I was not even the best man groomsman on his wedding. He never introduced me to his fiancée or even called me to check how I was doing. I could attribute this to me not being cool enough according to him. Him making fun of me being a nerd while we were growing up, buried in books, being gay, etc., and him being a typical Chad. Even though what happened in the wedding, I still paid for his honeymoon tickets as a wedding gift, paid for the surgery when he got into an accident for a stupid reason, and helped out with other missed wedding expenses. I did not want to, but my parents asked, and I could not refuse. My family was dirt poor while growing up, and it gave me enough motivation to work hard through school and college and get a decent high-paying job. I now literally earn 10 times than my other siblings / him, and am frugal. Now Kay lives with my parents, is not doing so well and expecting a child soon. Following the advice from close friends and my parents, I never disclosed my actual salary with anyone except my parents and a few very close friends. For the past few months, Kay has been calling me repeatedly to help out with some of his expenses, in the name of my parents. Like this one time, he asked me to completely pay for a renovation in his house, which apparently my mum needed. Mum said no, she did not. I suspect he knows about my salary or something. He calls again yesterday, asking me to pay for another BS on my mum's name, unrelated to my parents. I refused outright. Now my sister-in-law is messaging everyone how childish and immature I am and that I need to grow. So, am I really the arsehole here? So whilst this person's posting around and messaging people that you're childish and immature and need to grow, they're currently living in the parents' house, if I'm reading this right, with a child on the way. And they're telling you to grow up. And I know people have difficult situations sometimes, but I just find it a bit ironic in this particular situation. But do yourself a favour in future, do not disclose how much you earn to anyone, not even your mum and dad, man. I mean, it's just setting you up for trouble, isn't it? That information's clearly getting around, and that's why they're messaging you, trying to take the money off you. Not the arsehole. But Miss Lovett says, not the arsehole, stop paying for his things, even if your parents ask. None of it is your responsibility. Don't let your parents guilt or manipulate you into paying for his things. Odd Transition says, brother and sister-in-law are living with mummy and daddy, and you need to grow. You are definitely not the arsehole here. Nosy Writer replies to that one saying, and can't even pay for their own expenses, but think OP who is younger needs to grow up. Not the arsehole to OP. But you better start putting some serious boundaries, because I suspect once the baby comes, they'll be trying to treat you like their personal ATM even more often, and will try to use the child to manipulate you, so you need to prepare mentally and emotionally. It seems your parents treat him better. Golden child and scapegoat situation. That isn't fair to you at all. And Live Life 30 to the full who says, not the arsehole, they're trying to get money off of you. They decided to get pregnant. If they can't afford it, that's on them. You have a right to say no. He's 33 years old and he needs to get himself sorted. Don't give any money, and well done for doing so well in life. 1 second at a time says, not the arsehole. At this point you need to completely cut them off. They're expecting a child but are repeatedly asking you for money. Like that's going to end well. Your parents also need to grow up and tell your brother that he has to get on with his own life. They're allowing him to do this by never calling it out. Direct Plum says, someone needs to grow up and it's not you. I'm sure there are banks in your city if he needs to borrow money. Not the arsehole, you've worked hard and saved for you. Ncan says, not the arsehole. Just because that's your family doesn't mean they get to bleed you dry financially. Probably a good idea to stop talking to your family about your salary or anything financial as well. Plus you said your brother doesn't treat you well anyways. Now, what do you guys make of this story? What is your thoughts on all of today's stories? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments down below if you have a moment of your day to share them. A huge thank you for spending 20 or 30 minutes of your time with me today and getting involved with the channel. It means the absolute world. Honestly, guys, I could never, I'm blown away every single day. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.